What's going on? Welcome to the 5-Minute Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Colton Olson, and on this podcast, we spend about 5 minutes, I say about 5, give or take a couple sometimes, breaking down and teaching you to apply psychological concepts that world-class athletes, CEOs, coaches, and elite military units use to take their performance to the next level. The key word here is apply. I don't want you to come here and just get a bunch of information and not know how to use it. I want you to leave here every day feeling like you have something in your hands that you can use right away to improve your life. Let's get to it. Here we are on January 1st, 2024, and it would not be a new year without New Year's resolutions. Every time a new year hits, the vast majority of Americans and a lot of other people around the world decide that they're going to make some resolutions. In fact, this year alone, almost 70% of people said they plan on making at least 3 resolutions for the upcoming year. These resolutions come in all different shapes and sizes. Some people want to make small changes like just eating out a little bit less every week, and other people want to make big changes like they want to launch a new business, increase their income drastically, something like that. As different as these resolutions usually are, they're different for everybody, there's one common theme amongst all New Year's resolutions. And that common theme is that most of them fail. Actually, almost all of them fail. About 80% of New Year's resolutions fail altogether, and 90% are abandoned within the first month. So we definitely have a resolution problem. Well, we don't have a problem making them, but we have a problem keeping them. But if so many people want to make resolutions and seem so excited about making these changes in the upcoming year, why is it so hard to keep these resolutions? Why do we fail so much? That's the question we're going to answer today. We're going to look at why we keep failing at our resolutions and why we have such a hard time making lasting change. And then throughout the rest of this week, we're going to break down what it takes to avoid becoming a statistic and actually following through with the goals you set for the new year. So maybe you're someone who routinely sets resolutions and you do pretty well with them. Maybe you've set some in the past, but you ended up giving up and you're frustrated by that. Or maybe you've never made resolutions because you think they're dumb. Whichever one you are, there's going to be a lot of valuable information for you in these episodes this week. Because even if you don't set resolutions, it's likely that you do have goals or aspirations in your life that you'd like to accomplish. And whatever those are, you can apply the principles we talk about this week to all the goals you have. But if we want to become people that follow through on the resolutions we set and see consistent growth in our lives, we need to understand why we're currently failing. And the best way to understand this is to look at the psychology of goal setting. So psychology gives us 3 main reasons why we struggle to keep these resolutions. The first reason, and this is what I think is the main reason most people struggle with New Year's resolutions specifically. The first reason most resolutions fail is that people think too big. Too often people sit down, they lay out their resolutions, and they come up with these massive changes or these giant goals they want to accomplish in the next year. They say, okay, I'm going to work out 5 times per week every week this year. I'm going to go a whole year without alcohol. I'm going to become fluent in a new language. Or maybe they say, I'm going to start a social media account and I'm going to gain 20,000 new followers this year. I know I've been guilty of doing this in the past. And the reason this happens is because we love the idea of massive changes. We have this idea that other people do them and their lives change for the better. We come up with these big, sexy goals that we love to tell people about and that would change our lives in a big way. But we forget what it takes to actually make massive change. We get so wrapped up in these big, giant goals that we forget all the little steps we need to take before the big things actually happen. So that's the first reason resolutions usually fail, is we go way too big and have no real plan. If you want to make big change, you have to understand all the small steps in between. The second reason resolutions usually fail is that we want to stay comfortable. Humans love nothing more than comfortability. We are wired to stay warm, comfy, and safe, so it's really hard for us to willingly put ourselves in uncomfortable situations. But uncomfortable situations are exactly what we need if we want to see change in our lives. If you want to lose weight, you need to eat healthy and exercise consistently for a long period of time. If you want to make more money in business, you probably need to work longer, more intense hours for an extended period of time. Meaningful change takes consistent discomfort, which is something we do not like as humans. We avoid it almost at all costs. So that's the second reason they usually fail. We like to be comfy, and we can't lean into those prolonged uncomfortability that it takes to grow. The third reason resolutions usually fail is they're based on feelings. When I say based on feelings, I mean that we usually make them when we're in this happy, motivated state, we're excited, and we come up with things we feel like we should do. Then, as we're making them, we assume that we're always going to feel as excited as we did in that moment while we're pursuing these goals. And we do. These emotions and feelings might hang around for a little bit, but after a couple weeks, they usually fade away. And when the feelings and emotions fade away, we don't have any reason to keep going. We never took the time to identify why we really want to achieve these goals and why we want to make this change, so we run out of gas. We were relying on emotions and feelings. So, if we want to stay persistent and accomplish our goals, we can't rely on feelings or emotions. You have to have an actual reason, a why, some facts to pursue that will keep you going when the emotions go away, because they definitely will. So, those are the three main reasons our resolutions fail. And so now I'm going to give you one tactic to help you avoid each of those failure traps. Tactic 1, battle your desire to make only big, sexy goals by forcing yourself to write out at least 3 process goals for each big one that you have. Process goals are small action steps that you can take in the next 2 weeks that will get you closer to achieving your big goals. So, for example, let's say one of your resolutions this year is to finish a marathon. Your first process goal might just be to go on 3 2-mile runs this week, or maybe 3 1-mile runs. Small goals. There's nothing wrong with these big giant goals as long as you're laying out the small steps you need to take to get there. So, at least 3 process goals for each big goal or resolution you have. Tactic 2, change your relationship with feeling uncomfortable. You are wired to seek comfort. Humans love comfort, but you can't grow without getting uncomfortable. So make it a point to challenge yourself regularly, even if it's just delaying gratification and not giving in to a junk food craving. Find challenges. Start with the small ones and work your way to big challenges, but you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Tactic 3, remember why you're making the resolutions you are this year. Don't sit down and decide on some resolutions because you're feeling excited or motivated, or you saw somebody else doing something and you think it sounds awesome. Think about who you want to become and why you want to become that person, and then make resolutions based on that why. You have to know why you're taking actions, because I promise you the feelings, the emotions, the excitement are going to fade away. So you have to have something that's pushing you when those are gone. So that's all we got for today. Like I said, we're going to be talking resolutions all week. Next episode, we're going to dive into an important mindset shift everyone needs to make if they want to achieve their goals. And as always, if you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you back here next time on 5-Minute Mindset.